All right. So, I think it's sort of fairly self-fulfilling prophecy that the NRS community is terrible. Right? They've been terrible for a really long time. It's just that the good news for all the shills and the people that were defending all of these bad products for the sake of their own personal gain, whether it be through tournaments, whether it be through, monetization through various platforms, ignoring issues, that sort of thing. Finally, people have had enough, right? It's happened to other games as well. Mortal Kombat isn't the first one to actually have this happen to, or developers or publishers. It's happened before, and it will continue to happen again, because at the very basic level of every single argument of mine, as much as I am a passionate fan, you are a customer. And if you're not getting what you paid for, in your opinion, which can't be wrong, then you have every right to speak up. Now, I want you to keep an eye out on a few things. People's behaviors are becoming more and more clear as things move forward. The desperation to try and defend this game, claim that it's not dying, all of this sort of stuff is only going to elevate and get worse and worse and worse until people really see the truth. A lot of people, to a degree, have, because of the success of Tekken. And while Tekken may not be in your wheelhouse in terms of not as good as Mortal Kombat, I don't think anyone could argue that Namco have failed when it comes to putting out a cohesive and, sort of like deeply rich mode type of, or sort of many mode and deeply rich content-wise type of product. And that in itself is a major success. They deserve all the accolades for that, because they have done what every single game company out there should be striving to do. And that is not only making sure that your customer base is happy, but that everyone else is. But when I started calling out these people who were knowingly ignoring issues, right, who decided that, well, if you weren't an expert spending thousands of dollars to travel the globe to fight in a video game, then you should be quiet. You should be quiet. And this is exactly what's been going on for a very long time, it seems. And that's the reason why Mortal Kombat is in the state it's in. Because people were told to shut up, not speak out, protect their own interests, to make sure that as long as their doors were opened, it didn't matter about anyone else coming through with them. The community is not divided. It is destroyed. There is nothing left. The only way that this thing can get fixed starts from the top. It starts with NetherRealm. It starts with Warner Brothers. It starts with a huge amount of ass-kissing and just goodwill to take place. If you don't think that's possible, look at something like No Man's Sky, a game that was released far ahead of its actual schedule, to the tune of overwhelmingly negative reviews on Steam for a very long time, and slowly but surely, over time, they won back the fans that they lost. They won over the haters that weren't even interested and were hoping it would fail, because they released content after content after content free to keep people interested, to show them that, listen, we are caring about you, and that's all that matters, right? And that goodwill got them back to a point where now people view them in a positive light. That's what Mortal Kombat needs to do. But the community doesn't exist. There is no community. And it's very apparent. Keep an eye out. We know certain people are going to make videos because without me, they have nothing. Their channels are dead. They have no vested interest, from outside, unless they built their channel from the ground up with certain factors in place from the very beginning. And what happens is that the very people that point the fingers at me and say that I'm all about drama and rage baiting, which if you know my history and simply go through my channel, it's simply not the case. Well, they can't live without guys like me. They can't live without guys like you who make videos out there to call out this rubbish as well. And not just call out the rubbish. Call out people who, on one hand, will say, I have no problem with you, while the other hand holds the knife. I've seen this a lot. This isn't my first rodeo. For people that think they have me over the barrel, no. No. See, I've been doing this a long time. It doesn't take much to rattle the grass to startle the snakes. Famous line, absolutely love that line from Rising Sun. This actually comes from the Chinese. And what it means is that you know there are snakes there. You know there are shills. You know there are certain only pros that don't actually care about good faith arguments. And they'll come across in a variety of ways. They'll come across as positive or aggressive, overwhelmingly negative, cruel, hateful, or try and deceive you through charm. But everyone can see through it. Well, at least normal people can, right? And that sort of narcissistic behavior is very alluring for those that don't like someone else. They need someone to go into bat for them because they're incapable of doing it themselves. They need someone or a few people to be able to go, hey, I don't like this person because he said something nasty about my favorite game. I need someone to go into bat for me, right? Well, I'd like to say that people should fight their own battles and not tag people in because, well, they're not getting the show that they wanted, or basically agreeing on the very principle of everything that I say, but just to argue because there's a show watching. And that's what happens when you have people who argue in bad faith. Do not be deceived into thinking that I have not been watching and paying very close attention to the behaviors of these people, because their desperation to go out of their way to prove that I am wrong, that I don't know what I'm talking about, is getting to a height that they are almost addicted to the dopamine hit of not being able to let go. You just watch. They'll make more videos. They'll continue to do this. They can't help themselves because nothing else is giving them that rush. And particularly too, when you look into some of these people, and I urge everyone to do so, that there is a lot of, connected roads here, if you will, of, certain behaviors that have been being portrayed elsewhere on the internet. Which means that this is not something that has happened for the first time with just me. It's been happening for a long time with others as well. And while others can get away with, saying really horrible things and stuff like that, which again, I'm a big boy, I can handle it. But it's very interesting how, well, they're just joking. It's just comedy. This is what they do. But when you do it, even though it's far less egregious, far less impactful, it's like I've opened the gates of hell. And these people, it doesn't matter how polite they are, will always expose themselves because they can't win here. There is nothing to win. There is nothing to gain from what? Well, Fate's wrong because, why? Doesn't know every mechanic in a game? That's okay. Never said I did. Doesn't mean to say that the game can't be shit. I can say it's shit for whatever reason I like. And there could be 1,000 people out there that could say, no, you're wrong. You just don't know better. Now, people always say, and the people that won't agree with me will be like, yeah, I don't care. They won't care until it happens to them. And when it happens to them, and they suddenly speak up and go, hey, I don't like this. This is terrible. right? And then they have a whole bunch of people saying the exact same thing to them as they were saying to other people. In that moment, they will realize that, well, maybe I should have had a little bit of, foresight. Maybe I shouldn't have been so quick to judge. See, people come at me in a whole variety of ways. And maybe to my detriment, I have been willing to talk to these people because maybe it's simply that they just don't understand. And yet, surprisingly, the amount of people that have subscribed to me, the amount of people that watch my videos, seem to have no problem understanding what I'm saying whatsoever. See, to some people, narcissist types, they expect everyone to bend to their will. I've never said that. I never implied it, and I certainly don't want that. I want to just share my opinion. Nobody is forced to click on my video. And even if it's recommended for whatever weird reason that is, on YouTube, nobody forced you to click on it. You did. So whose fault is it? Is it yours? Or is it mine? And that's because the reason is because people that don't like someone are addicted. They can't just move on. They can't just go, okay, he's wrong, see you later. Well, don't worry, I see the comments. And I see the comments liked. I see the comments responded by a lot of these people out there that say they have no problem with me. They have no problem with me. And the ironic part is that they were doing the same behavior well before certain conversations actually occurred. Isn't that interesting? And not only that, they continue to say the same things, regardless of not having a problem with me. So slowly but surely, over the last few months, it has been quite the movie unfolding to see the behaviors and the desperation and the need to be right above all else than actually being, decent at having a good conversation. That's the reason why I spoke highly about Tom. Tom disagrees with a lot of my takes when it comes to, say, gameplay mechanics. And I see the comments slandering him. And as far as I'm concerned, I take what I'm sold. Every time. So until I'm done wrong by someone, then if they treat me with respect, I will treat them with respect. But don't get it twisted that by being kind and speaking a certain way, regardless of who it is, there is not a, how would I put it? A certain personal agenda behind that. Because again, when we connect all the roads up, certain people are very well connected. Certain people can't seem to fight their own battles, and they need others to help them. That's very interesting. Certain people will sit there despite the fact that they agree with you 100%, will argue every single point because they got an audience. Do you know how many people that I have had these public conversations with talk to me in private? Just one. Just one person. And that's Tom Brady. Because when we, and I'm not going to give away the details of that because, well, it's private. But there was respect there. I actually said to him when we got in the conversation, I said, you're not live streaming, are you? This was right after the whole, cupcake incident. He said, no, we're just having a chat. I'm like, cool, great, very refreshing. And I complimented him on how genuine he is. See, a lot of these people as well in the community like to prop up Tom and say, oh, I've got no problem with him. I respect him. While in the very same breath, disregard his achievements, belittle or choose to have him renamed because of positions he is in now so they can try and win. So they can steer away from essentially what my whole argument has been this whole time, which is that this is a bad product. I have my opinions and my reasons because of it that I don't like. And if you don't like being held in the air for 17 seconds in a combo, with the amount of damage that we're facing, you have every single right to say, I don't like that, and I'm moving on. Or I'm going to talk about it. Now, it doesn't matter whether or not you know all the mechanics, because now, since all of these conversations, I have learnt more about these mechanics. And what has changed? Nothing. As proof by further videos that I have done of people in the community that have openly called out the stale, monotonous, boring gameplay that they themselves, who are part of the esports scene, have seen themselves. Are they wrong for saying the same thing? Or is it because they're saying the same things that you're saying, therefore they have to be correct? An opinion is not wrong. You can have an opinion on a game. You could blatantly come out and say this is the absolute biggest pile of shit and not have to give your reasons whatsoever. It is just your opinion. And whether you like that or not, it's immaterial. That is a fact. But at least in my case, I do try my best to try and explain what I talk about. And a good portion of the NRS community seem to, they don't seem to like that. When they started to poke their heads above the sand, and the behaviors that they started to display, that's when I started to prick my ears up and go, that's very interesting. That is very interesting how these people who know way more than I do give a shit about what I say. It seems to me that, again, their vested interest is more important than the person that has spent their money on buying something and they just are not having fun with it and being talked down to, or being told you're dog water, or that you're simply wrong because you're not behaving in the way that I think you should be behaving, like some overbearing parent. Well, people don't like those answers because at the end of the day, it's their money. And they will go where they feel like they're respected. The Tekken community and the outpouring support and communication from Namco and Harada has been so amazing that it is opening the eyes up of even MK fans to see how wonderful it is that despite it not being Mortal Kombat, they are being respected as a fan base. The company, the developers are respecting them as a fan base. There are so many wonderful people out there in the Tekken community that try to embrace newcomers into the game to try and help them understand. And what do we get? We get queef sets. We get people who are propped up telling people to die, to have their family wiped out. And then everyone goes, it's just comedy, bro. And then when I ask the source of this, if it is, I'm told no. So who's the liar here? It seems like nobody seems to be able to get their story straight in their great desperation to try and prove me wrong. But you can't prove me wrong any more than I can prove you wrong. The reality is this isn't about right or wrong. It's about exposing the core of who you are. And I have seen it firsthand, up close, and unfortunately sometimes personal. And the only person out of this entire bunch that has at least spoken to me with honor and respect, regardless of whether or not we have differing opinions, is Tom Brady. A guy that has way more experience than most of these people. How is it that this man is able to do that and have a good conversation and no one else can? And the reason for that is simple. Because these people only care about themselves. They only care about their own interests. They only care about how they look to everyone else. And that is the absolute epitome of what a narcissist is. It's very interesting how talking with people, talking to whatnot, and something has come up about, well, words have meaning. Words have impact. Yes, they do. Words do have impact. Is that the reason why when in certain conversations where I'm being told that I should die, that I'm dumb, that the tag team didn't say anything, that it was okay to be that way, because it's okay because they approve of that person because they're friends. That right there should absolutely get you to look beyond the words and look at the thing that matters more than the words that people say. Because anyone can say, I love you. A guy can say to a chick that he wants to have sex with, oh, I love you. I really do. No. What is missed here is intent. And I have seen the intent in many of these people up close and personal for months now. A lot of these people that have not had these conversations, who may not realize that, have been missing the intent behind the words that are spoken. And it's intention that matters to me. And that is why I don't judge people because of, well, how they, how they might name themselves as a YouTube channel, or how they portray themselves in their videos. Because so many times over the time that I've been doing this, you do back and forth videos, you get behind closed doors, you have a good conversation, you realize that, no, these people are either good people or they're not good people. And in my experience, at least in the old days, they were all great people. Even people that would openly hate against me and me against them, when you have a conversation behind closed doors with no audience. Interesting how in those days you find out, it's like, nah, man, I don't give a shit. We're just mucking around. Like, it's all for show. But this certain generation, it's not for show. At least not in that way. They have an audience. They have built something. And they, in order to maintain that, need to keep up appearances to make sure that they don't look weak or frail in the fate of the situation. And it's very interesting how when I am unmoved in my position to a degree and still willing to listen to their explanations about stuff, it's not enough. It doesn't matter how many times I try and explain it, how much context I give. It's very interesting how I'm simply just not agreeing with them. Again, narcissistic behavior. They don't want a conversation. They want to be right. They want you to be wrong because that is their intent. And there will never be a time where any of these people will contact me outside of Tom Brady, who will message me for a one-on-one private conversation away from needing a community and say, listen, let's see if we can hash this out. No one will do that. Now, I did a stream the other day when Diddle came in. For the most part, it was about 75% shit, but at the end there, I think it worked quite well. But proof again that there is an intention here. The intention is all that matters, not the words that are spoken. It's the intent. And the intention was to say you're wrong. You're just wrong. That's not true. It's absolutely not true. You have guys like Foxy openly lying for a while now because they need to have a face for their grievances. Ask yourself this. Can they stop making videos about me? Can they stop? The answer is no. Because they need me more than I ever needed them. And that's why my channel continues to grow with all your wonderful support, both from subscribers and viewers and people that have donated, supported me in every fashion. You have put me here. And I continue to grow, even though it's very slow. But I don't mind. It's not a race. I'm just traveling. These guys need me. They need me because they need the money. Because without me, without drama, or without other people they can create drama about, they got nothing. Because they have built these false temples around crap, around stuff that has no substance, around things that, well, aren't done in the best manner. But remember, it's okay when they do it. Just not when I do it. Because I'm not their friend. And these people will never, ever, ever have a one-on-one conversation because they are cowards. They need a group. They need their fan base to back them up. So that way, when they can look at their chat, they can go, oh, thank God, I am right. I am right. Yeah, I am a good person. Fate's an idiot. Yeah. Well, don't worry. I saw what was going on in some of these conversations I had. 100%. Don't think I don't know. I know everything that goes on because I pay attention. And it's very easy to see these people fall over themselves constantly to try and get the one-up on a man that doesn't matter. I don't matter to you. I don't matter to anyone except the people that only matter, and that's my family, right? And of course I have friends. Of course, obviously I matter to them, but real life is far more important than this. And these people need the drama. I can put out 100 videos never referencing these people ever again. Talking about, like I've always talked about, various aspects of a whole bunch of different things. But they can't. They have no imagination. They have no insight because they're a one-trick pony. All they've got is the one trick. And once you take that away, there's nothing left. And so therefore, it doesn't matter how big these people are, or how big these people get, or what they say, or what they do. I have been paying very close attention to the intention for these people for a very long time. And once you start to look past the words and see, hang on a sec, what's really going on here? I mean, these people are kind of agreeing. Like, why are they still arguing? What is the purpose here? Congratulations. Once you get to that point, well, then you understand. Because now you're seeing the intention of people and the true motive of what they're doing. See, unfortunately for me, I'm a pretty open book. You get what you pay for, right? Obviously, no one's going to know everything about me because this is just my fighting game channel. I'm not going to divulge every secret of my life, or things on, everything else outside of that. I'm talking fighting games and the community. But when I talk about something, it's straight up, it's direct. I smash that nail over the head with the biggest hammer I can find. Because that's what I do. And at the end of the day, nobody forced you to watch this stuff. But this is why these people lie. This is why the lies of Foxy saying, well, you're just a lolcow. You're just a rage baiter. You don't have any true intention to fix Mortal Kombat. Well, even after I've spoken to these people, they still are sticking to the lies. And again, intention is everything. Because I'm a pretty reasonable dude. I have admitted that I have got things wrong. I have admitted mistakes. And I have also been willing to listen to their side. But they don't want to listen to my side. They want me to agree with their side. That's not a conversation. It's not even a debate. It's control. It's making sure that they will never, ever, ever look frail and weak for their audience. And that's why these people will never have a one-on-one. Privately. I welcome it. Let's see if any of you are man enough to have a private conversation. And sure, you can record it because, well, that says everything about you and not me, but, if you need to have recorded, by all means. But only one man in this entire community of the people that I've talked about and discussed things has had that one-on-one conversation, and that's Tom Brady. And everything that we spoke about privately, he also spoke about publicly in the conversation that we had 10 hours later. which proved to me the honor that this man has. That he didn't just say things to me privately and then openly just go, no, oh, no, not this. No. It was real privately and it was real publicly. Let's see how many of you out there can actually do the same thing. You can't because you need your audience. And you certainly don't want to expose yourselves now to me unless you decide you want to. Not in that way though, that's disgusting. Right? I welcome it. Sure. But I don't think so. Because the seeds have been planted, they have watered the seeds, they have grown their fruit, and they have committed themselves to the farm they have built for themselves, for their audience, and they will continue to do so for as long as it takes. But it doesn't matter. I will still be here. I will still be covering fighting games and doing whatever else I do on my other channels. Unmoved, unwavered, certainly not defeated, and that bugs the shit out of him. And I love it. Because, as I mentioned, just to finalize, intention is the only thing I care about. You come at me with something, I'm going to look beyond the words, and I'm going to start to see the intention. Why do you think I don't fight back? Or am placid? Because that opens up their intention way more than it does when you fight back. And it has been working splendidly this whole time. Am I being dishonest? No. I'm actually wanting honesty. And unfortunately, some people are incapable of being honest. So therefore, you have to go, okay, let's see if we can get that honesty out of you. Let's see if you're willing to show everyone who you really are. And they have, to me. So I don't care whether or not they make fun of my gameplay or say I'm shit at a fighting game. Do you think that matters in the real world? Do you think that shit matters in real life? No, it doesn't. But to them, it does. To them, they wake up and I'm living rent-free in their head. In fact, I'm living so rent-free, they bought me a couple of houses and a Lamborghini. It's great. I love it. It's fantastic. Beautiful. Bellissimo. And that's okay. Continue if you wish. By all means. You won't move me from this rock. And that's the reason why my support continues to grow. Especially from people that openly say they don't agree with everything I say. I commend people that do that. Because it means that they realize that you can have a conversation and disagree on things. And it's okay. And you can walk away shaking hands and it's okay. Because these people, they don't have an audience. They're just one person out there coming to another person and saying, listen, man, I don't agree with some of this stuff you say, and that's okay because that's their perspective and that's their opinion. But their intention is noble. Their intention is to go, well, listen, hey, I understand where you're coming from. I think you understand where I'm coming from. And that's great. Two things can actually coexist at the same time. A certain number of these people, they don't want that. And they're cowards. And that's why they'll never be able to have a one-on-one private conversation like someone as I would consider as decent and as honorable as what Tom Brady did, because they're cowards. And the very people that look up to Tom, some of these people have admitted it. How is it that he can do it and you can't? Isn't that interesting? And don't worry. Don't worry. I'm very well aware of the things that a lot of these people that idolize Tom Brady to say that, oh, I got no problem with him, but I have a problem with you. Oh, I know what they say about him behind his back. Oh, I do. I get the comments, I get the messages, and I don't care about slander and whatnot when it comes to someone who I think is a nice person. Again, I take what I'm sold. Tom sold me that, and that's it. He's a nice, honourable person. Stuck to his story both in private and in public. That's good enough for me. I'm a simple man, but make no mistake, I do pay attention. You know, there was one thing I did ask Tom, which I will not mention, right? And he had a good laugh about it. Because again, you guys really don't know what's going on, you know, because you guys, some of you guys anyway, who like to just believe lies, not investigate, believe the slander, are cowards. Just like you're cowards that in order for you to have a conversation with me, you can't do it without needing an audience. I don't need an audience. I can talk to anyone. The question is though, can you?